On August 14, 2021, a San Antonio man was crushed to death while fixing a flat tire. After Jose Gonzales stole his truck, reversed, drove forward, and then deliberately turned the wheel to run him over as he tried to get away. In court, you'll see Gonzales trying to make excuses, but the prosecutor shuts him down, showing video of every move and telling him you had every chance to leave and you chose to run him over. Today, you'll see that shocking footage, hear the prosecutor's tough questions, and listen to Gonzales not take full accountability for what he did before he gets 35 years.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 9984, State of Texas versus Jose Gonzales. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Alfonso Cabañas for defendant Jose Gonzales.
And are you Mr. Gonzales? You entered a plea of no contest to count one for the offense of murder on June 13. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 35 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. All right, state, do you have any witnesses?
Not for the sentence.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Judge, only Mr. Gonzales, but I don't know if the court wants to allow him to talk or.
However you wish to do it. If I'm going to swear him in, if he's going to be doing it by narrative and the state has no objections, then we can proceed by narrative.
And we can do that, Judge.
All right.
Narrative.
State, will you have any objections to proceeding with testimony from the defendant by narrative? Of course, you'll have a chance to cross-examine him.
Sure, Judge.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, Mr. Gonzales? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
And for the judge today, ma'am, not only the judge, but the family of the victim as well, ma'am. And I just want to say, not only am I embarrassed, but I truly am sorry. And I take in full, I take full responsibility for what happened that night. And it wasn't intentional. I was under the influence. I made some bad choices and even worse decisions. And I just want the family to know that I truly am sorry. This isn't my character. I was out of character this night that this happened. And I know how I would feel if this would happen to one of my family members. And I just want the family to know that it wasn't me that night. Like I said, I had some things go wrong in my life and I made bad choices and completely am sorry for it. I can't say it enough or express how truly sorry I am and remorseful. And I know that not only do they have to live with it, but it's something that I have to live with the rest of my life. And I truly am sorry from the bottom of my heart for everything that I caused and for all this that I brought up, and I accept full responsibility.
All right. Any other questions for your client?
No questions at this time for Mr. Gonzales, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gonzales, you saw the PSI report with your attorney, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you just need to speak up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is there anything that from your statement in here that you would like to retract from what you talked about, especially about the actual incident that night? Because the reason I ask that is because you said today in court that you're taking full responsibility for it.
Yes, sir.
Now, the problem is that in this report, and I'll read from it, it says that the person that you ran over tried to hit you with a tire iron.
Yes, sir.
And then you also stated that he jumped in front of the truck 2 different times.
Yes, sir.
And then the second time is when I ran him over.
Yes, sir.
But you do realize that he walked in front of that vehicle. I have a video that I'll be showing you shortly. And he came over to the driver's side. You recall that?
Yes, sir.
And you're in the driver's seat. And you drove forward. And then you backed up.
Yes,
And then that person, Mario Renteria, walked in front of the car and got into the grassy area. Do you recall that?
I'm sorry, just 1 second. Excuse me. In the box, if you all cannot whisper, do not talk. We're on the record. You may continue.
Do you recall that? He got out of the way of the vehicle. He was getting out of your way and you turned the wheel and drove directly over him. Do you recall that?
I turned the wheel to the right. He was standing in front of the driver's side in front of me. and I turned the wheel to the right to try to veer off and go around, but there's only so far because there's a ditch right there
Okay.
that I was, but
You saw the video, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna see,
Sure.
you're gonna have an opportunity to see it again, okay?
yes, sir.
So I might give you the benefit of the doubt, considering that you're intoxicated at night. Why don't you tell the judge, what were you on that night?
Meth, marijuana, I don't even know what else.
Xanax?
I don't even remember taking Xanax, sir, but if I was, I was.
And also, just going to your record, you just got out of prison,
Yes, sir.
and then this happened.
Yes, sir.
And so the way I read this is that you're stating that it was the victim's fault that you ran over him.
I'm not gonna say it was all completely his fault, but I mean, if it's seen like on the video, I try to go around the passenger side. I was trying to avoid a situation that happened at the gas pump, period. And that's what I was trying to get away from.
So how I mean, you just said not all of his fault, or possibly his fault. How is it any of his fault?
I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, we were both at bad places at, at even worse time. And I mean, I know he was just changing his tire, but at the same time, when I approached him, if I recall correctly, I told him like, hey, I wanted to try to get out of there, period. And when I asked him for a ride, it just, I don't know, he wasn't, I guess because my demeanor, I had my shirt off, I have tattoos, maybe I was.
I mean,
bit
you're a
aggressive.
gang member, right?
No, sir, I'm not.
You're not part of the Mexican mafia. That's what it was dictated in here.
I understand it was dictated, but no, I'm not.
What's the Playboy bunny behind your ear?
It's just a Playboy bunny.
Just a Playboy bunny?
Yes, sir.
That's not related to the Technology Homes at all.
No, sir. The oil horns and the Mexican mafia.
I know they conflict. I see people some switch sides. So you also, do you remember approaching him for the first time? You approached him twice.
No, I don't.
And so you approached him once, had an altercation with him, you walked to the gas pumps, and then you walked across the road. Do you remember that?
No, sir.
Do you remember being in the median with your boxers down, your shorts down?
No, sir.
And do you remember walking back and talking to people at the gas pumps again?
Sir.
You remember going then to the victim's truck when he was on the passenger side trying to change his tire?
What I remember was when I walked up to him when he was at the driver's side and he was standing there with that, I guess, the tire iron in his hand.
To be fair, he's changing the tire. So what would you have in your hand if you're changing the tire?
I mean, I understand that.
Well, you stated here that he hit you with it. Do you recall that, or you just say that?
No, I said he swung it at me. I never said he hit me with it.
Okay, well, because in here it says that I closed the door and the guy was standing there with the tire iron. Is that the individual, the victim that you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever bash on the windows or anything like that, try to get you out of that truck? It's on video, so I want to know if you remember.
I don't remember. I'm not.
Do you recall saying that there was another guy in the truck and he was closing the door and that there was a girl in the truck that you're trying to help?
That was the first truck that I
first
walked
truck.
up on.
Now, to be fair, you don't know those people over there by the gas pumps either. I talked to them and they don't know you.
Yeah. They know everything.
And it states in here that you said that you were trying to steal the truck. Is that right?
No, I never said I was trying to steal the truck.
You said, I told the officers that I was trying to steal the truck, but that's a lie.
I told the officer I was trying to steal the truck, and I said that's a lie.
But you know that you weren't supposed to be in that vehicle, right?
Yes,
And that was not your vehicle.
yes.
Judge, at this time, I'd like to use a state exhibit, I believe number 2, that was entered for stipulated steps to show and see if you can identify portions of that.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right. You may present State's Exhibit number 2.
And Judge, that's on the screen currently. Sir, you see that person right there?
Yes, sir.
And is that you?
Yes, sir.
And that's you with your shirt off, but is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And where are you approaching? Can you see? Who's that you're approaching, sir?
I have no idea.
Is that the truck? Can you see what that is? You see that there's a person on a bicycle there too, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And do you know that individual?
No, sir.
So he's standing there while you're at that truck. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see yourself walk off there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the first time you approached the victim at his truck. Now I'm going to 2250-33. I'm going to start playing it here. Can you see an individual at that truck in a white shirt? He just walked around, there's a glitch. Now you're going to see another person walk up right here. You know who that person is?
Can't see that good from here.
I'm sorry?
Can't see that good from here.
Well, I'll tell you, that's you approaching him for the second time, roughly 6 minutes later. After you left him the first time, you approach and you go to the side of the vehicle. Lights come on. You see the victim walk in front of the truck, go to the driver's side. You know who's behind the wheel at this point?
I am.
Looking at you. Drive forward where you could have driven off at this point, but you chose not to. You reversed and turned the wheel. Now you have the victim in the middle of the vehicle. He walks off into the grassy area. You turn right, and run directly over him. Do you recall that?
No, sir.
Second portion here, you ram it into the Texaco. It didn't end up there. You rammed it into Texaco. You'll see you exit the vehicle. Nobody else in that vehicle. Witnesses are going out to check on the victim in the middle of the field. You continue to walk inside of the gas station. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir. Walking in the gas station, yes.
And Judge, there's many different views, but in one particular that I will be showing to the court is camera angle number 13. Do you see yourself on the top of that camera walking by?
Sir.
And I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this to 2254:30. I'm sorry, 2254:17. Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Is this you? Do you know who you're talking to at this point?
No, sir, I don't.
Talking to officers that have come in to arrest you. At this time, I'll fast forward it, Your Honor. I'm starting 2255:42. As officers approach, you retreat into a small office. And that's where they have to enter And that's where the cases that are being taken into consideration of you kicking two different officers. Do you recall that?
No, sir.
So in saying all this and showing you these videos, you state in this statement here that I'm hoping they see the videos and reduce this to a manslaughter. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And so you, I mean, at this time, do you believe that this is a manslaughter?
No, sir.
Pass my witness law.
Defense?
Judge, just to clarify a point that I think was just misread by the state. In reviewing the PSR, I think the statement was, let me know if this is correct, Mr. Gonzalez. They told the officers that I was trying to steal a truck, but that's a lie. Right, so you never told the pre-sentence investigator person you were trying to steal the truck. It was whoever told them that it was a lie. You weren't trying to steal it. And then, based on what we saw, Mr. Gonzalez, you were under the influence of several drugs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Nothing further, Judge.
State, any further questions?
Not for this witness law.
All right. Any other witnesses, defense?
Not from defense, Your Honor.
All right, then the court will hear argument. State,
We'll reserve for close, yeah.
defense.
Thank you, Judge. I think what we just saw, Your Honor, on both video and what we heard from Mr. Gonzalez are the unfortunate consequences of an individual who was heavily intoxicated by multiple drugs. If the court reviews the PSR, it will see that prior to this incident, Mr. Gonzalez did not have any assaultive offenses. It was nothing but drug use, for which he did his time and was on parole. From the beginning of my representation of Mr. Gonzalez, Your Honor, I want the court to know that Mr. Gonzalez has been very apologetic for that night, for the death that he caused, and for the terrible loss that it caused to the victim's family. He's never once, Mr. Gonzalez, he's never once told me that he wanted to fight this case or take this case to trial. Nonetheless, we reviewed discovery, we saw the video, we saw the reports, and it is confirmed through through the evidence and his testimony that he was heavily intoxicated by use of meth. The court just saw his behavior was erratic. As Mr. Gonzalez said, it's completely out of character for him that evening. But as a consequence of his drug use, Your Honor, there was a person who died, and for whom Mr. Gonzalez expressed his remorse and also his sorry to the family. And I say that, Judge, because I want the court to consider what Mr. Gonzalez said, the PSR, but more importantly, in acknowledging that Mr. Gonzalez from the very beginning accepted his guilt. Regardless of what the state asked him or regardless of his answers, you can tell that Mr. Gonzalez has difficulty expressing himself. But I want the court to know that in no way did Mr. Gonzalez ever or today try to minimize his guilt or put the blame on the victim. He accepted responsibility. He told the court he was under the influence of drugs. And he didn't. Done that evening. And so with that said, Your Honor, I would like the court to consider a punishment, thank you, to consider a punishment for Mr. Gonzalez of 20 years incarceration.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. Victim in this case, Mario Renteria, just trying to fix his flat tire. Pulled up into that gas station where he'd been numerous times before. Just in the testimony that he was there quite often to go get a drink before he goes to work or anything like that. He was a frequent individual that came by there. He was a nice man that he was just there to change that tire. And what ended up happening to him that night is egregious. This individual, Mr. Gonzalez, has pled to this case, but the fact is that he hasn't answered for the case yet. And the fact is that he approached the victim 2 different times, and witnesses would have testified and in the prosecution guide that Mr. Renteria was not aggressive, that wasn't attacking Mr. Gonzalez at all, was trying to get away from him at times. And you can see from the video that the state has provided to the court and shown to the court that the victim walked in front of that car 2 different times, and the defendant had an opportunity to leave in that stolen vehicle if he wanted to leave. But he chose to turn that wheel to the right and run over Mr. Renteria directly. And so in saying that, Your Honor, I want to go over a portion of what the autopsy shows of the damage that the defendant caused. Both femurs, both legs were broken in half. Pelvis had multiple fractures. He had a broken back, mid-back, and the thoracic. He had a lacerated liver. He had a lacerated lungs. He had a skull fracture, and every single one of his ribs were broken. What is called a collapsed abdominal, where he could not have breathed. So in saying that, Your Honor, 20 years is a manslaughter, 35 years is a murder. This is plain and simple a murder. He knowingly, intentionally drove that vehicle over the victim, and the state would be asking for 35 years, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Gonzales, I want you to know that I always reread stipulations. I always read the PSI report, and I always keep an open mind in listening to arguments from the defense and also from the state. And I understand that maybe if you had not been using drugs, maybe none of this would not have happened. We will never know, because we have to deal with what we're here for now. And what I'm looking at is the fact that you had someone who is merely trying to change their tire, and now they're dead through no fault of their own. So that's an issue. I know that anytime that someone is sentenced to, it's difficult, because those are years behind bars that you're not able to do the things that you want to do. You can still see your family, but it's different seeing your family locked up as opposed to being in what they call the free world. But at the same time, there's someone who is no longer with us through your actions, and who knows what joy or happiness they were due to bring to this world, but you took their chance away from that. You took the chance of them being able to have more time with their family. You understand? That's either yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So previously, the court found you guilty. The court is going to assess an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, taking consideration 2021 CR 9982, 2021 CR 9983, give you credit for any time served, and the court will sentence you to 35 years in the prison. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Ma'am.
All right. Is there going to be victim impact?
Yes, we have two.
All right. So members of the complainant's family are going to speak to you. I require that everyone in this court is respectful to each other. But as you can imagine, I'm sure there is heartbreak. Right. So just internalize what's being said. All right.
Judge, just to let you know, my advocate, the advocate for the 187 is going to read a letter because the family feels like they don't need to.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
This is from Jessica Renteria, which is the cousin of Mario Renteria. Jessica feels that Jose Gonzales should get the maximum sentence for killing her cousin. The entire family will never be the same. We have an empty space in our hearts that we can never get back. The heartache that you caused has caused the entire family a sense of emptiness, especially for Mario's elderly parents and siblings who all live in Mexico and are not able to be here. His siblings were not able to say goodbye to their older brother or to be at the funeral for a final goodbye. They can never visit his gravesite to leave flowers or simply talk to him in his final resting place. Mario Renteria Prado has left behind 4 kids and his 2 young granddaughters who he will never grow up to see. Mike My cousin was a hardworking individual who took care of his family and helped out his extended family when he could. He was a good person who had so much life to live and has been taken away due to a senseless act of violence. I believe in our justice system and know that the right sentencing was done. This next statement is from his daughter, Mario Renteria. The morning after August 14, 2021 started with what felt like a real life nightmare. Unwittingly, I have mental replays of every single moment that I have after waking up to the news of what had happened. The fear, the anguish, the shock, the disbelief, the void, so unexpected and so unimaginably painful. Not enough words could accurately describe it. My dad was caring, hardworking, and he respected by many. He was also very intelligent, wise, and attentive. What I loved most was hearing my dad laugh, and what I admired most was his heart. Seeing my dad smile made me happy, and hearing my dad laugh made my heart smile. His love for our family was like no other. It was undoubtedly the strongest force to feel. He treated me like his little princess, along with my younger sister. He was the first person to check in on me when I wasn't doing so well, and he never failed to show me that he was there for me. My dad loved nature and being outdoors. He loved the rain and the sounds of birds singing. He loved music, his guitar, and his red pickup truck. My dad lives in my heart, and I miss him every single day. I miss his humorous nature. I miss hearing him laugh. I miss seeing him smile. I miss seeing his contact pop up on my phone as he calls. I miss his jokes. I miss the feeling of the love and the safety that he provided with our family.
Sorry, just 1 second. Excuse me, deputy. First row. All right, you may proceed. I'm sorry about that.
Life is beautiful and it's full of choices. But sadly, it is chaos written with poor souls who know not peace nor love. Grief is an ugly thing. It's like a gaping hole in your chest that doesn't get better with time. You just live with it. The pain still feels unreal and inhumane, but the love our family feels for my dad is and always will be stronger than any evil.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.